Hi, how are you today? Well, that's good. All right, we are going to read This is My Bible Friends. This is book 4 by Etta B. Degrading. All right, today we are going to read a story. This story is called Joash the Boy King. Don't cry, little Joash, don't cry. Someday you will be king and wear a crown on your head and sit on a golden throne. But if the wicked queen hears you cry, she will send her soldiers to take you away, and then you won't be king and wear a crown on your head and sit on a golden throne. Uncle Jehoiada was the priest of the temple, and Aunt Jehosheba kept baby Joash in the bedroom of their temple rooms. Joash learned to walk, he learned to talk. The wicked queen did not find him. The boy Joash grew. Each birthday he stood a little taller beside the bedroom doorpost. In the daytime the door was always barred shut, lest someone in the temple see him and go tell the wicked queen. In the evening, when the people had gone home, the door was unbarred and Joash could walk with his uncle in the temple court. One evening, as Joash and Uncle Jehoiada walking together in the temple court, Joash saw a hole in the temple wall. Then he saw another hole and another, while the temple wall was full of holes. The holes were made by the wicked queen's sons when they tore away parts of the walls to build a temple for their idol, said Uncle Jehoiada. To repair the holes would cost much money, and there is no money in the temple treasury. Uncle Jehoiada taught Joash to read the law of God. Joash read, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honor thy father and thy mother. Thou shalt not steal." Joash loved to read the law of God. He loved God. Then came the day that Joash was 7. Uncle Jehoiada took him by the hand and led him to the temple porch and stood him beside the bronze pillar. Below the porch to one side were singers, on the other trumpeters with silver trumpets. Rows of soldiers with spears guarded the porch. Many people were in the temple court. Quietly, they watched and waited. Uncle Jehoiada placed a scroll of the law in Joash's hand, and the king's crown upon his head. Then a horn of sweet-smelling oil he anointed Joash, king of Judah. The trumpeters blew their silver trumpets. The singers sang songs of praise. The people clapped their hands and shouted, "God save the king! God save the king!" The wicked queen came running into the temple court. She heard the trumpeters and the singing. When she saw the boy king standing beside the pillar, she tore her clothes and shouted, "Treason! Treason!" She commanded the soldiers to take the boy away, but the soldiers took her away instead. The people lined up in a long procession, soldiers, singers, and priests. The trumpeters led the way out of the temple gate and down the street to the king's palace. They carried the boy king Joash. This palace would now be his home. Slowly, Joash walked up the palace aisle. He climbed the steps to the golden throne. The throne was very large, and his feet did not reach the floor, but he sat as straight as a king. Again the trumpeters blew their trumpets. The singers sang, and the people shouted, "God save the king! God save the king!" To be king was a big task for a boy. He would need Uncle Jehoiada's help for many years. King Joash remembered the holes in the temple wall. How could he get the money to mend them? He sent men throughout the land to collect coins, but the men spent the coins on their own houses. Oh, stealing. The holes in the temple walls were still there. Then Joash thought of a different plan to raise money. Joash asked Uncle Jehoiada for a chest with a lid. "Let us put the chest inside the temple gate," he said. The chest was placed beside the gate. "Let us cut a hole in the lid," said Joash, "a hole just large enough for coins to go through." The hole was cut in the lid. Now, when the people came to the temple to worship, they would see the chest and drop coins through the hole in its lid. People came from near and far to see the king's money chest. Boys and girls came, fathers and mothers, grandfathers and grandmothers. They marched by and dropped coins into the chest. At first the coins made a clinkety clink clink sound. When the chest was half full, it went clinkety clink clink, and when it was almost filled, just clunk. "Bring the chest to the treasury room," said Joash. In the treasury room, his helpers poured the coins into bags. The chest was again placed at the temple gate, and the coins went clinkety clink clink, clankety clank clank, and then clunk. Again and again the chest was filled and emptied into bags in the treasury until there was money enough to repair the holes in the temple walls. Stonecutters cut stones, carpenters sawed boards. Carefully they worked, for this was God's house. At last the holes in the temple walls were repaired. Now many people came to worship in the temple. They learned to love God as Joash their king. God looked down from heaven and was pleased to see the beautiful temple, the worshiping people, and the young king on the golden throne. The end. All right. Well, I hope that you enjoyed that story, and we will read another one next week. Bye.